Yes. Go. All right, it's good to go. Is that a tour book?
All right. Anybody hear anything on the spirit boxes yet? Does that feel okay? Okay. What were you thinking?
I don't know, it seems old.
When you get done right, this just kind of goes along here. All right, you got anything on yours yet? Okay. Sandra, how's your word list look? Got anything popping up on there?
Yeah. Lorri. I just heard Lorri.
It keeps popping up.
You heard Lorri. So I'm going to show you. Do you see the little white box to the right of the word?
Uh-huh.
If you tap that white box, it'll show you everything we've had so far.
Sophie. Oh.
Sophie.
Sophie, rabbit, death, association, estimated, safety, Derek, paper.
Paper's interesting. Paper was obviously back at the lot, right? At the garage?
Yeah, that was the first one.
You heard Lorri in real time.
No, Lord.
What was it?
Lord. I heard that when I put in, turned it up, it said Lord.
Oh, Lord. I thought you said Lorri. Yeah, no, you're okay. We're going to keep it on mute for just a second. So, first off, with cameras, those of you that have them, we don't film other tours, and we might be in some spaces where there's parked cars. We don't film parked cars at all. So you want to always stay clear of those areas. So again, if you see somebody passing through us, because again, we're going to be in some more popular areas where I don't normally like to be with other tours there, but you're going to point your cameras the opposite way. And these folks looks like they're going to be passing through us. We'll just split the C's when that happens. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and kind of part the way for this couple coming through. As they kind of part through here.
I'm gonna pull this way.
Oh, you're fine. This is part of the reason why I don't like to do the intro. Hi guys. So, where the heck are we? We are in Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Every tour down here tells the exact same story, but you're ghost hunting. You're getting different details. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. Speaking of which, where's my Ouija board again? Who has it? You're looking for the initials RI. So RI, and again, I'm going to kind of preempt you with this device because we're still learning more about it. So RI is definitely relevant to the Rhode Island. Bless you again. Did you bring Kleenex, bro? Like, seriously.
These two, they're a mess. We just stay away from them.
Now, comes down here from Rhode Island because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. You can be filming in here. Just make sure your camera's not pointed at a tour directly. So we definitely want to get some footage in here. See the little red like circle? If it's a square, it's already recording. If it's a circle, it's not. Okay, perfect. Now he's got the gist of that. Now, Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd moves down here to prove that he wasn't after Amanda's money. Which, by the way, the doctor's name shows up here all the time on your spirit boxes. Joseph Brown Ladd was his full name. So as he's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. I'm going to stop there because a gentleman was walking by with the name Ralph Isaacs. The same initials as where the doctor came from, which is where the RI comes into play. Initials do mean things on a ghost hunt. So Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside. And you can stay with friends that I have at 59 Church Street. I already mentioned the number 59 earlier. You can see where that came from. So Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer and to become friends. Dr. Ladd, the longer he stays here, the more money he's making. So he's proving his point. Yeah, we got another tour coming through. So we're going to split the seeds again if they kind of come through. But he's making more money. And Amanda gets word that he's actually making more money for himself, and he's proving his point. He becomes known as the Excuse us. Oh, you're good, you're good.
Just us ghosts.
All right. now know why I only take 10 at a time. So, running ghost on the back end.
Hey, no lack of money making in Charleston.
I know, right? But
There's your point.
I'm not that guy. I'm here to show you guys a good time. That's the whole point. So, back to Dr. Ladd and the whistling doctor. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. I'm going to bet my paycheck on it. It's just one of those things. We all have one, but there is proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the way the hierarchy works here in Charleston. So they talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare. They start arguing over the new actress that was in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph, not so great. They start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. Obviously, it's very heated and very ugly, and they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends here in town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, yeah, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Sorry for the language, but that's the best way to describe it. Now, Dr. Ladd sees the ad and he rebuttals with, "Go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die." So they come down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph gives us one shot. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off, and he wasn't willing to forgive. So Dr. Ladd drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 or 4 days later, depending on which version of the story you read. The irony is that the day he actually died was November 2nd. That was 3 days ago. That was the anniversary of that. So I was actually expecting a whole lot on that specific date, but we didn't really get much based on Dr. Ladd. But all the other ghost tours that come through here all tell you that as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. The funny thing about ghost hunting is you guys are listening to radio stations. You know how many times I get a song with just the whistling part, like Guns N' Roses' Patience, or Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger, or something on a commercial that's just a whistle, or the word whistle? It happens often. So again, it's not always going to be an audible piece in real time. We're also voice recording and video recording with different cameras that have audio, so you're going to need to check that specific location when you're watching your video to be listening for any types of whispers. Now that the air conditioner stops, do y'all hear how quiet it is down here? It's like this on a busy Saturday afternoon. Don't ask me how or why, but it's part of the reason why there's a ghost story down here. The other thing that they say you can hear down here is gunshots. I have no proof of gunshots whatsoever coming through any audio pieces. So I will tell you that if you're going to try this on your own, because I can't take you all the way through, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment, but turn on your voice recorders on your phone. See if you get a whistle in the background when you listen to it later. But keep in mind, every local knows a story. Obviously, you guys know where my garage is now. I'll be passing the alley on my way back to the garage, and I always throw a whistle down the alley. Every local does it. If they walk up and down Cumberland or on Queen Street the other side, it happens pretty much on a regular basis, day or night. So just kind of keep in mind it's not going to be that obvious. It'll sound like wind blowing in the background, very faint. I actually have some melody out of some of them that I can't debunk because it wasn't somebody walking nearby. So kind of take that for what it's worth. Here's how I actually got kicked out of here. You guys actually kind of got some of that out of me earlier. So the alley didn't always go all the way through. It was cut off because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charlestown. It was called Charlestown back then. So all of the livestock was down here. It used to be called Cow Alley. The word cow has shown up on your spirit box a lot while we've been in this location. But anyway, I like to point out that the bricks on the other side of this alley are actually sun-dried bricks. They are older than the side that we're standing on. Those sun-dried bricks were made from slave children. There's a full handprint and fingerprint swipes in those bricks at the end. So yeah, you guys don't know this about me yet, but you do. I'm all about the history, and I'd always point them out because we all need to see it. I don't care the diversity of my group. We all need to see it to show how far we've come away from slavery. However, my entire team that night, of November 26th of 2020, they all surrounded that brick in hopes that something was actually going to come through. Again, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave or a cemetery. You're not going to get a whole lot there because that kid's not staring at the brick. Like, I'm just going to, in the afterlife, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't actually take you to cemeteries. We are going to go to a weird graveyard later on, but again, that's the experiment. We're going to get into that one later. But I'm trying to hurry that group along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're not supposed to be there. We're out of bounds, and I was still relatively new at this, so the guy came out screaming, the new owner, and my daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. Most of you now know that I worked in retail for over 20 years, and I don't work Thanksgiving anymore, ever. So don't even expect me out here on Turkey Day. But I didn't have a tour. The next day was November 28th of 2020. I did not tell my team that night that what we were going to be investigating because I was asked by the tourism office to either reroute or to go down halfway as what we're allowed to do. What I did tell my team was we were going to be investigating a pirate at the next location. I did not name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them it was going to be Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. We get up there and I told it a little bit I did know about piracy, kind of the same mentality of our last two stops tonight, and somebody else hears the number 300, and I don't know what the hell that means until the research the next day. What letter just came up?
X, yeah.
X marks the spot for damn pirate treasure. Woohoo! So, sorry, that's why you guys keep me around, for jokes and laughs. But anyway, we get up there in 300. I'm researching it. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. Who the hell's Lillian? I don't know either. I might have to dive into that. Names and numbers usually don't lie, so if you guys hear names and numbers, I dive in pretty deep to see who the hell it is. So at this point, because we're so close to a cemetery, I'll probably be diving into the cemetery records to see if there's a Lillian in there. One last thing before we leave this space. Any other crazy things pop up on your end before I tell you why the gate is here?
Crack, bloody, hostile.
I like bloody. Like, that's very vague, but I need a secondary clue to verify that it was actually a duel or something with guns or the word kneecap or anything along those lines. So, the gate behind me is the reason why it's there. Remember that the alley didn't come all the way through. In the event there was a loser to a duel, they would have to go to the cemetery. To go all the way down to Queen Street would be a long way to be tracking a dead body. This was a shortcut to get to the cemetery. Obviously the wrought iron wasn't there, it was just an open archway, so that way you can get to the cemetery. Go celebrate the winter with a pint. Have you had yours turned up at all, or have you been listening to me this whole time? Okay, have you heard anything?
Mine just said something, yeah, there's like a lot of different stuff going on in here, so.
It's not easy to do, is it?
No.
It's not easy to do at all. Alright, so as we kind of go up to our next spot, we are going to be looking around St. Philip's, and I don't know at this time of night what the lot next to the powder magazine is going to look like, and that's where we discuss the pirates. So if it's full, it's going to be, we tell the story outside of the lot, because when the lot is full, there's usually attendants there and they don't want tours hanging around. So we'll tell the story, and then we're going to pass through it very, very slowly with all spirit boxes cranked, so you guys can tell me what you've heard when we get through it. Again, I'm just being very
Grace?
open.
Yeah, Grace.
Grace, runner.
Twist.
The next story does have a few twists. And I usually mention that because you guys have to follow me because there's that many twists. Very interesting. So, Lorri, with yours, you'll be able to unmute it on our way to the next location. Once we stop, I'll ask you to mute it again because we're going to be in a very popular tour spot. And I want to I don't want to be overbearing on top of the tours plus your white noise coming through. So definitely unmute it along the way and we'll see what we get. Everybody else, crank those spirit boxes. Ori, have you heard anything coming out? Nothing at all yet? You might not be as good as April. Because I believe you had quite a bit coming out of yours.
I had all kinds of things.
Yep, I believe she did.
That's the point.
All right.
No, I got my own things.
Trade.
No, you keep listening.
Have you seen any numbers pop up at all?
Yeah.
What numbers?
Oh, it's always getting numbers.
Up to 1.1 is natural from the Earth. So
Like 2.9, 3.
I'll take a 2.9. I'll be
There's
writing
like
that
a
one down along the
3.2.
way. Is that the highest? Was 2.9?
No, 3.2.
3.2. So that's still pretty low, and I don't normally expect EMF in this location. Again, we don't even really pay attention to
I
it in
think
here.
3.2 is like when we're walking somewhere.
So it wasn't necessarily in the alley.
No.
Okay.
Here
so
was like 2.9.
when we're on the streets and sidewalks, ignore your readings because the electrical lines for the parking meters are underneath the sidewalk. It'll make it go off, so you can ignore it. You'll probably get like a 3 to a 6. All right.
This right here. This brick. Feel it.
2 locations.
This has been here more than 300 years. And if you came to Duluth Valley because you had like a big dick complex and you challenged another dude and you're like, my dick's bigger than your dick, I'm gonna fight you for that. I disagree with whatever you said because my dick's bigger than blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I got a pistol, you got a pistol? My dick's bigger than the pistol. Alright, well, I'll meet you downtown. That's how that went. Stupidly.
My problem is
For hundreds of years, that's how that shit went. Regardless of whether you were a president or like a foot peddler.
Just keep it within your party.
That was how it went.
April, if you want to take that from him since you were so good at it last time. He's getting a headache from that thing.
Too much white noise back and forth.
Any craziness going on with yours?
I mean, just WY
No,
came up pretty
no,
quick
no,
just
no.
now, but...
Yeah, but
And when you're talking about Ian, Bonnie, a B came up.
We have had initials come up in the past.
You don't
Almost a full spelling of her name. So whenever you have a full list like that, I'm going to ask you to reset it. So that's this big dial right here. We're going to counterclockwise, back to 9 o'clock. Perfect. So that way it just doesn't overwrite the same letters over and over again, and then we're looking at an anagram of letters that didn't correspond with it.
I've been
Touch the brick.
scared.
You gotta remember, 80% is gonna be garbage. Like, we're gonna throw a lot of that out, but you do get the full list back. That was something there.
You tell them before because I wanted to.
Not easy, especially yours. Yours is worse than listening to the other two. Just because you never know when something's gonna come up. With this one, they're hearing songs and a full DJ conversation, and you know that kind of thing. Yeah, it doesn't stop. All right, let's go learn about some crazy pirates and talk about Sue Howard Hardy. Did I do this Sue Howard Hardy? No.
Exactly. That's how they settled it. And they did it. And then when you died, because you were that stupid, they caught you out. Because you died.
What dumbass? What
Because
dumbass?
you were dumber. So they caught you out through that gate. You dumb fool.
And in your life meant nothing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna really quick go ask Nick. Hold on. I gotta think of something. Hey Nick, should I stop recording? Or should I just keep it
Put it
going?
up to you. Just be discreet with it as we're kind of getting up there.
Got it. If we're going past parked cars and people, I'll put it down.
It's just like the people-y part of it.
Got it. I'll just actually stay behind your bag.
There you go. I'm gonna splice them all together anyway. You know how it works. Did you go through the last set?
Last set we should have. I think we pretty sure we went through it together. Yep.
Did you guys find anything extra?
Trying to think back. I don't remember. They might have found something. You're probably gonna have to ask them. Oh, this is the lot with the pirate and the cemetery next to it.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
A lot more than last time.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm actually switching everything back to 9 o'clock. Like, I don't like this 8 o'clock where all the other tours are out and that kind of thing. Starting Monday, I'm going back to 9 o'clock. I've already gotten a hold of all my guests from now in the future that has 8 o'clock tours. And it's not a good deal for me.
And these guys will go home eventually.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're going to actually have a seat right here for a few minutes. Did you get anything weird coming out of yours? You look excited.
Like at one point it says like down over there, oh it was, like weird little bits of phrases.
What was the first part you said?
Down over there, something like that.
Down over there.
And like, oh it was,
Interesting.
bits of phrases.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to get, is little tiny bits and phrases. So if what you're hearing is actually matching up with something that's going on with another device, that's where the clues start to come together. It's not going to be one investigator gets all the evidence. It all has to kind of match up. Tina, what do you got coming out of yours?
I just got number 1 and across.
Are we doing a crossword? Number 1 across? Sorry, that's a bad joke. English guy, sorry. All right, so any other letters popping up out of your end?
C.
Just C. That's interesting. Let me know if you get a P after that. Even if there's a letter in between that P, I'd be very interested to know that CP showed up here. So every tour stops at this church behind me, and the reason why is because there's 2 different sides to the cemetery. The eastern side, the side that we're sitting on, is actually for native Charlestonians only. So the reason why I'm interested in CP is because there's one of our governors is buried over here, Charles Pinckney. So it comes up a lot when we're around this location. You guys don't know the full history of the Pinckneys because we skipped that, part of the tour tonight. But again, it's very interesting. But they're all up here on this side because there's a sign right inside the gate that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Now, Sue, again, initials mean something, right? So what's her initials?
SH.
Right. right? Very cheesy, very campy. I hate even telling you, but it does show up all the time, just so you guys know, especially on this one. Now, Sue Howard Hardy dies 6 days after her stillborn child. It's a very sad story. They make it some big drama. I'm giving it to you brief so we can go see it and then move on. Now, the weird thing about this whole story is that in 1987, a local photographer was taking pictures of all of our cemeteries, and he does capture a full apparition in one of his photographs as he's developing them himself. So, that photograph it's 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now, so he has to send it to Kodak. I don't think I have to explain what Kodak is here. Kodak doesn't know what to do with the photograph either. So for guys like me, this thing is gold. I am going to show you the picture, but it is cursed to females. What I did not tell you guys at the top of the tour, which I normally do when I have my regular route, is that if anybody feels any major symptoms of headache, nausea, dizziness, I need to know immediately. Because, again, you're seeking out paranormal activity tonight. So again, I know I'm going through some very quick stories before we get to a full investigation, but with this type of feeling, I don't allow anybody to touch the tablet when I'm showing you the photograph, because it is said females that handle it, even in a digital format like a tablet, are said to get those same type of symptoms I just mentioned: the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story with the stillborn baby. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon or a great weekend from Myrtle Beach and all of a sudden 9 months later I cursed your family. So don't touch my damn tablet when I show you guys the photograph.
Yes, that's correct. When he was talking about the tablet.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to let these folks pass through. Hi, guys. Alright, so I'll go down kind of 2 by 2 and let everybody kind of see it. So this is the full photograph, and your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket next to her. We have gotten terms like baby, old baby, stillborn, all of these crazy things that thrown up in this location.
They're up in seeds, man.
They're in the trees.
Praying over her own grave. Normally for guys like me, when we're researching apparitions, because of course this is common study.
Man, that tree is like screw the fence. You could go over.
This would be something that will show up like in the top 50. Your apparition is right here. She's praying over her own grave, looking at her back. The baby basket is right next to her. Okay, I know you didn't get to see this last time, so. The whole apparition is here. Woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket next to her. Wow. I have been through the records of the church trying to find something out about this baby, even proof of their birth, so forth and so on, but based on it being a stillborn child, there's no record. So there's no record of the gravesite either. So this is probably an instance where the baby's probably buried with mom. So that was common practice back in the 1700s and 1800s, so it probably held true with this particular instance, because I can't find any records whatsoever. And I've been through the entire church records trying to find it, based on the wife's name and the father's name. So now, we're going to get into, there is a lot of cars over there. I'm just going to be kind of very cautious about like how we're going to pass through this. So I'm actually going to have you guys all have a seat. So you four on this side, just chill so we can actually kind of get through the pirate story, so that way you guys know the history before we get over there. And then what we'll do is we'll pass through that lot very, very slowly. So that way anything popping through on your spirit box, you'll be able to open it up a little bit and kind of get it going.
What'd you get?
LED.
Demonstrate.
It's not temperature, it's rage. This is electrical fields. So my phone is going to make it over.
So since we walked over
Damn.
here, or right before, it's been nothing but this straight. When we were in Philadelphia, like,
You okay?
yeah, we get more activity. Down.
It's weird that down you wouldn't get much out of it.
Sorry. Down, I got nothing but this. Any bit of up, it would get warmer and warmer. Down, it would look like this.
Okay. But just remember, it's not doing temperature, it's electricity in the air.
Yeah, so up.
You're getting more electricity, EMF.
But
Interesting.
down,
It's very
it looks
odd.
like this. But here, obviously,
Yeah, we got nothing going
it's
on.
the same.
Yeah, so
Someone's having a bad
once
night.
we actually get, like I go through this pirate history, we're going to probably go check out the cemeteries and get to see the sign and get a little bit of footage up there. Obviously take some pictures kind of thing, so once we get through.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good, you're good. Come on through. We'll try not to wake anybody. So, we're going to be discussing the little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. So if you're right past this truck, so for those of you sitting right here in front of me, you probably have a hard time seeing it. But that is the gunpowder magazine. And those crosses are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, if you're unfamiliar with them, it's basically turnbuckles. In the event we have an earthquake, like what we had in 1886, which we haven't, that's a weird anomaly for us, by the way, you can turn those turnbuckles and it'll straighten the building back up again. It's a great theory, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring it up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina, finished in 1713. So that's part of the reason why I love to investigate it, because it's what I call a familiar ghost. So Anne Bonny is said to haunt this place because it would be something she would recognize. It's almost like using a toy to attract a child ghost. So everybody notices the cat as they're walking by. It's perfectly funny. They do have a lot of them around this area, and that's because of the circular church graveyard. And I'll explain that later, now that they're actually out and about tonight. But anyway, I discussed this building because, again, at the time of its construction is when Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. Let's get into it. 1708. A young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. His mistress turns out to be her mother. Are you guys with me so far? Okay. The three of them are running away from his angry wife. How angry was she that they actually had to leave Ireland to come all the way over here by boat? Just putting that out there. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, if you're unfamiliar. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. So basically, in a nutshell, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she killed one of her servants when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old by putting a knife to the belly of that poor servant. And I say 7, 8, 9 years old because this is pirate lore. Every version of the story has a different age. So, fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love pretty quickly and earn her freedom just like a man. It's a man's world at that point. So, the first guy she falls in love with. Yes, I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through them. James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve. Filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. However, this guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. This is not who she wants. She falls in love a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the person that they based her Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So again, this is the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. So it's the guy. He has his own ship and wants to be part of it. You can't put a female on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Right?
Bad luck. So he makes a deal with her.
No penis, bad luck.
He makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, let's go. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters, which means she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she is a female. Oh, so he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show. Have your baby over here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out and come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. So I can't even find it in all the research that I've done on Anne Bonny. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. And while she was away giving birth to Jack's baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make him even more mad. So, that's who Anne is. Now, this is guy number 3, in case y'all lost track. Guy number 3...
Anne's a badass.
Yeah, she is. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like guys trying to be pirates on the same ship. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because it's a long lost history. Now, Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates as the British were coming down to take them out, by the way. So they found out where they were and they sent a fleet of ships to come take them down. Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight. So Anne and Mary have their 1-bullet flintlocks trying to take on a fleet of ships, probably because they don't know how to use the cannons yet and they have no idea what they're doing. Obviously the ship is going to get taken and they're all going to get arrested. And as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, Calico Jack, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on our spirit boxes, just so you guys know. The judge is the same name as me, so if you hear Nick or Nicholas on there, it's usually reference to him. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. The 2 ladies, they go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they screamed out, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, she brings her back home, she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. So again, we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, she dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending. Yes, I know. It happens. Mary Reed. What happens to her? 1721. A year later, she dies in that Jamaican jail. Use your imagination on what she actually died from. Most books and articles will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit on that. It was probably scurvious and nasty. So use your own imagination to make it very romantic for yourselves. So, when we walk through that location, the questions that I left out of that on purpose is the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So, Ty, with yours, what you're going to do, and I'm going to set it up for you, is you're going to be looking for Anne Bonny's hair color. So hopefully she's going to show you what color her hair was. So for those of you with spirit boxes, these are questions that you can ask out loud, you can focus on them, but that's kind of like how this is going to go with all of those vehicles in that particular location. We're going to do a quick little weave around the parking lot very slowly and get a bunch of footage. Looks like that group is leaving, so we're going to actually head up there and get a little bit of footage of that cemetery so you guys can see the sign and take some pictures up there, and hopefully we can recreate anything that happened with Sue Howard Hardy, the story I mentioned earlier. So, of course somebody else took that spot. I told you. That is every ghost tour's last stop. So I just kind of like, I usually just let them have it. So, for now, does everybody remember the 2 questions? The parents and the ship. So, very easy stuff. Anything going?
Right as you start talking about Calico Jack, C and a J.
We'll take it. We got initials.
Yep.
Anything going on with yours, Tina?
Just a whole lot of stuff.
Whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Any numbers coming up out of yours? So that would explain yours over there, April, because he doesn't have anything on his either. It's the same machine. Words out of you.
Tim, depression, cheat, door, increase, strategic, no.
Tim is interesting. Almost like he knows we're coming. And usually follow up with cameras right away. Yours was on mute. Ari, you got anything coming out of yours?
Static?
You're having a hard time with that, are you?
Yeah.
Let me take a look, make sure it's still sweeping.
It's sweeping.
All right.
Leo.
So, Tina, on yours,
Leo?
can you see a little SD
Oh.
on yours? On the right-hand side?
Yeah, there's an SD.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's still recording.
Leo.
I don't know who the hell Leo is.
Okay.
Tim is very close to a person we're going to be talking about here very, very soon, which is very interesting that showed up. Let me know if you get a Henry along with that. That would be very interesting. So, can I let me see your device real quick? You guys really need to stop throwing stuff at that truck. Again, you're looking for motion. That's what this guy here is detecting. So when I say red, they would have to touch it to make it turn red. So he belongs to the church. Yeah, he gets a lot of them. All right, get those spirit boxes cranked up. Let's get those video cameras rolling, and we're going to walk through that lot pretty slowly. When it's going off like that, there's a way to reset it. There's 3 buttons here on the right-hand side. Find the bottom button, keep your thumb there, and click and release every time it goes off. So that way we're kind of omitting that it came from your motion. It's going to go off with your motion, just so you have that angle of thought. All right, everybody ready to kind of stroll through the pirate parking lot over here?
St. Phillips.
Nice slow movements out of that.
Yeah.
Anything coming out of there yet?
Can't make it out. It goes something so fast.
And I have it as slow as it'll go, just so you know. Yes.
It does?
It does. So you had CJ, which I'm excited about. Then you heard Indigo. Very interesting. I'm going to explain it too. I don't have to write down. Are you still on Leo that I can see?
Yeah.
Okay. Got you her?
the board is wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately with that one, you can't really control the volume because the noise canceling and the volume have to match, so that way it works together. Competition is relevant too, so you're getting the hang of it. Hey, bro, I really think you need to be helping him out. He is struggling.
I got moving when we came in though.
What color did you go up to?
Yeah.
What
it
color?
Went, well, just into the orange area.
Orange. So you had about
But
a
that's the first movement that I've had since we left Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But it moved. We were on somewhere you.
Good.
What was it?
It sounded like you said clean something. Die.
You're getting terms relative to Philadelphia now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Competition, dueling.
Yeah.
Like, I hear that a lot over there.
Yeah, it's so weird because I'm getting a lot of it here. Indigo, I heard, is really getting up
Well,
over there.
what's interesting is Indigo is relative to that Charles Pinckney that I mentioned earlier. His wife, Eliza, is the one who brought the Indigo to fruition here in Charleston.
Ah.
So, weird. We don't normally hear the word indigo straight from the spirit box like that. It pulls up
And
on
it's
the
just like
standard.
super
Super
indigo.
clear.
Like indigo. Like, I was like, oh, okay.
What other letters you guys coming up? Y. Still Y? This is the sensitivity. Right? Crank it all the way. And we don't get off of this workstation the same way that Kaiser was. It works off the same type of rate. If there's any electric stay in the air, it's going to stop that cursor on the list. That's where you're getting it. So if we crank the sensitivity, we're going to get more letters, but that also means that it's going to be more like NCPIP. P is not part of my name, but we have the anagram of let's figure this out.
I did months right after. I don't know if it's like number or primary.
System is not into that. Landed. What are you getting over there? Yellow.
That one.
Yeah,
That's the blue
No, it's the blue one. Right under the corner.
Her color wasn't blue, but that's definitely some motion going on here. We don't normally get anything that's that wall at all. This is weird if you had anything. We don't normally get numbers either.
We moved really slow because I thought it was going too fast and got it again. Weird.
There's like a lot of them.
Capturing any else, Lorri?
I feel like the word worth.
Lots of vague things.
And there's some, like a really low man's voice, like it's just too low to my job.
Can't make it out.
No, what it is. Really low.
Seeing anything else?
Black,
You're getting good.
black, and did you say black?
Yeah. That's all relevant. Most pirates were actually Africans. Because Africans were cargo. Where the pirates stayed, cargo. They would give them an offer. If you can either come be a pirate with us, or we can send the ship along. Everybody was slave and the Americans. So they would choose pirates. Normally weren't like elected up to captain kind of thing.
So they're just like normal crewmen?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But they got paid and they were part of something. They had to leave their wives and children behind. But
At least they weren't slaves.
they would send money back. They were good with it. Gonna be on sea for a few months. Kind of thing.
Carry on.
I'll write it down, but I don't think that's gonna be wrong. Alright, let's get you guys the answers, because there's some decent things going on here.
Okay. What is it? Is he stealing it?
Checking out something.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Often tells us about his life. It's very interesting. Again, the word or like name L also show up. Her maiden name was Lucas, and when I was going through the Pinkley Mansion site, I would have you guys try to find out what her maiden name was, because Charles was married twice. Both Elizas, because both of them were named Eliza, had a maiden name that started with the letter L. First wife was Eliza Lamb. The second wife was Eliza Lucas, and both names have shown up on our spirit boxes in the past. So, very interesting. Oh, okay.
He's doing something back there.
Gotcha. There's a porta potty back there. Alright, so this is one of the few pictures you can find of Anne Bonny with a shirt on. Reason being is because she was the bare breast to show. So, yeah, she's kind of badass. You really gotta stop throwing those acorns around. So the names of her parents were William Cormack and Mary Brennan. You okay over there, April?
Yep.
So you guys weren't expecting a secondary Mary, which is part of the reason why I threw that question in there. Again, we have Mary Reed, the friend/lover. So William and Mary usually show up together. What's weird is that it usually comes out of one spirit box together. Somebody will come up to me and say, "I just heard William and Mary. Does that mean anything?" I'm like, "Well, that's Anne Bonny's parents. Let's just go with it." So I also like to show you Calico Jack before we leave the space, because everybody wants to see what Captain Jack Sparrow was based off of, and I kind of explain why he's named Calico Jack. He was named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. His father was a tailor, and textiles were very important to the Rackham family. So these jackets that he wore came from the British captains that he killed. So Calico Jack, fancy jacket. Kind of get the gist of where the name showed up from. The name of his ship was actually the Kingston. It's weird that we had the word Queen show up when I would normally expect the word King. It's because you're listening to radio stations. Kingston is not going to be a common term on a radio station. I would take the word king. We also had some pretty strong readings of motion over here too with Kai's device. So he got all the way up to blue, which means they got pretty close to him.
Yeah, it was just holding blue for right now.
And I was getting it again. Normally we would get a red on command because that would be Anne Bonny's hair color. But getting back to Kingston, I don't expect Kingston to show up, but King will suffice in this location. Again, based on what we're using, we have to kind of go with the, roll with the punches a little bit. So those were the two measly questions that I gave you, as far as, what kind of questions you can ask other than Anne Bonny's hair color. So where we're going from here is where we're going to really be able to spread out, and we're going to dive into that location once I give you the brief history of what I do know about the one person we're going to be trying to investigate. So it is, it's about a block and a half away from here, so it's about a 5 to 6 minute walk. So for those of you with video cameras, there'll be no point for you to videotape us for 5 to 6 minutes just walking. But your EMF detectors, you can ignore them. So Kai and April, you can ignore your numbers and colors at this point. You can even turn off that little white button in the back on yours, Kai. I don't know if you've seen how I did that or not. Yeah, lift up the flap, and then there's a white button on the right that's pressed in. Just press it again and it'll pop out. Perfect. And you can push in your antenna at this point. Once I give you the little bit of history on the person we're searching for while we're there, we'll be able to spread out a lot more thoroughly than trying to maneuver around vehicles and trying to work around the church's parking lot. And I'll tell you, like, this 8 o'clock time frame for me, I don't like it one bit. The reason why is because all the other tours are also out at this time, and I love having the city to myself. So for those of you that have taken this before, it feels like normally when I take you out, you have the city to yourself. So starting Monday, I moved everybody back to the lot. Like, it was just one of those pieces, like, it just doesn't feel right when we're out here with so many other people. The ghosts don't like so much commotion. So if everybody's cars are put away and there's not as many tours out, it's a lot easier to go through. Any other questions about piracy or something else? Oh, I'm going to tell you about the black, and we had African American. Go ahead.
I thought I heard governor. I wasn't sure if that was
Yeah. Charles Pinckney was a governor.
Oh, okay.
We're getting all of, like, she had competition, which is what I call bleed over. So we just left Philadelphia Alley, where there was dueling competitions. So the word compete and competitor competition show up there quite a bit, and contest. But yeah, governor, definitely relative. You're getting, it's almost like they're pissed off because I'm not going to their house tonight. So it's like, damn it, Charles, make up your mind. But yeah, he was definitely a governor, and you're going to get links to all of those things once I piece it all together. The other thing that some of you may not have heard is we did have the phrase African American show up on the word list, and then we also heard the word black. So the interesting thing about that is that most pirates were Africans, because at the point they were considered part of it. And what did pirates take? They took part of it. So they would give Africans an opportunity to become part of the crew, and the pirate ship becomes stronger. So most Africans coming over would take the deal. So, but yeah, we're going to be going out this lot, and we're going to head up to Meeting Street and make a left. So for those of you that lag behind, already not naming any names, that way you know which way we're going. So
Nick, I heard Father. So do you remember that like early '90s song? And I don't even know what it's called, but it's Father of Mine. Tell me, where have you been? Like, it's the one thing that came really clear.
Father.
Yep, Father of Mine. So the entire part of the song, Father of Mine, was the clear part.
Well, I'm also looking at that as just Father. Remember, spirit boxes are slowed down here, so
Yeah.
we're going to pick up extra words that don't mean anything. But we're also next to St. Philip's Church. We always get religious terms over here.
Yep.
So
I also thought her husband while she was talking about that.
you guys are killing me.
And I've heard not like, well, I mean, I just took it from Ari when we got here, but
Yeah.
I've heard nothing else but static. But we
Yeah,
were right over
see?
here talking by the church. It comes up very clear, Father of
Father of
Mine.
mine.
Have you heard of the name Reficio?
That showed up in this location the other night. Watch somebody come into their vehicle. Those lights just went. Part of the reason why I don't like full parking lots. I feel like I'm interrupting somebody's vehicle.
Start walking up?
But yeah, Reficio showed up here the other night. I looked into it. I couldn't find any relation. It's Spanish for sure, and we are talking about the Spanish Isles. You know what I mean? So again, it could have been somebody. I can't find a direct tie. I did dive into it. I know exactly what term, like how to spell it and everything. I can spell it for you in the back of my head because I just looked at it the other night. All right, let's head up to Washington Square. Let's do this. New spaces. We're testing things out.
All right, I'll stop the recording once we step outside the ground for.
Perfect.
Alright, and stop.
That
Recording.
actually counts as something they'll do. They'll take your license away in Utah. Like literally revoke it.
I think that's a fair punishment.
Yeah, it is. They don't play around with emergency vehicle safety testing. I'm like, okay.
My friends.
We got a race car coming in the street legal.
Yeah, I saw that.
The NASCAR one? Yeah.
My friend's dad
That's
has
gonna be
a
fun.
Jeep with he has like one of those shredded military like.
I want one of those. Those like the 12 wheel ones?
Yes.
I
He
want
has
one of those so bad.
on his property, and the state was like, no, you're not allowed to have it. Why would you have it? And he said because it carries water in it or whatever.
Yeah.
He said that it's for fire hazards.
That's a good lawyer right there.
Fire.
All right. I'm really surprised that there's nobody in here. Like last two
So
nights,
sick.
this place has been just chock full of other tours.
They're probably curious.
We were just avoiding them with the new route. So thanks for that, Ron.
I'll sit back here.
This is a very interesting service. I didn't really know what I was going to find in here once the first night I came in. So it was just a matter of like, here, and we had a very specific year and a name show up. And that is that of the gentleman behind me on the bus. His name is Henry Simba. So we had the name Tim show up earlier. Where did that come from? Didn't it come from the word
This one
list?
here,
I thought
yeah.
so. So this guy was a poet. And he was a very poor poet, by the way. Go ahead and reset that guy.
Yeah, reset the buttons on the side.
Got it. I was pressing it wrong. So he basically tried to fight in the Civil War, and they sent him home because he was too sick.
Yep.
Where he went after that was he went
What
up
have you
to
seen since you got
his
here?
cottage that was up in Columbia.
Nothing.
And he's writing at his desk in 1867. He didn't really know what was wrong with him. So he starts coughing. Coughing and coughing and coughing. And as he writes his last line, he coughs on his last page. This page is a famous page because it is in the collection of the Charleston Library Society. And the interesting thing about that page is that when the blood showed up on the page, it looks like a man writing. And they call this the blood book. And they only show it on Halloween. Very interesting page. I'm going to show it to you. So you kind of get a gist of who this person, like what it actually looks like and why they would only show it on Halloween. But I found something when I was researching it, and it was, he wrote when he was here in Charleston, living here, because he was also stationed at Fort Sumter before they sent him home. He wrote a poem on Charleston, and the last stanza on that kind of creeps me out a little bit, just based on what I do for a living, and of course based on the times that he was in. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her fate she waits, the triumph or the tomb. He's waiting to see what's going to happen to Charleston after the Civil War. But based on what we do out here, it kind of describes the same thing. We're out here ghost hunting. We don't know if we're going to be triumphant or if we're not going to find anything. We never know. That's the glory of paranormal activity. So that is from his poem entitled Charleston. But as far as the blood book page that he spat on, the last line that he wrote is also kind of creepy. So the last line before he died states, "Beholder of brief mortality." Basically, he predicted his own death. I'm reading his words out loud on purpose. I'm stirring things up. I call it a trigger object. Yeah, so he has it all. This is obviously his blood. Stir it up. Again, if you type in blood book, Henry Timrod, this is exactly what you get. This is the actual page that he's found. So I found this whole piece very interesting because he has said normally if you go on another ghost tour, some of them talk about him at the Charleston Library Society where this book is actually being held. I found it interesting because this is Washington Park, named after George Washington. So I didn't know if we were going to find things relative to George or what we were going to find. I found that first night was the year 1829 and the name Henry in the same night. Henry Timrod was born in 1829 and died in 1867. That makes him 38 years old at time of death. And that's a very hard life, which is very interesting that that's the person that came through here. So, in this space, we are going to spread out. I'm going to be bouncing around all of you to see what's going on. We're not going to be sticking together like what we did at the Powder Magazine. We're going to spread out. So I want us to have some fun here. Lots of footage. Get that thing cranked up. Tours do come through here a lot. We're not going to interrupt their tour or film their tour. So let's spread out, and I'll be bouncing around with all of you, kind of seeing what's going on with your devices. Sandra, I want to see your word list first, just since we kind of...
Telling and Corsican about
What,
Hey, show me the walk.
French?
when we were walking.
Is it on the way here? Like, how close were we to the Powder Magazine?
Yeah, right around there.
It's served in the French and Indian War.
Oh.
So a lot of times if we have French, Indian shows up somewhere else. So it did serve 7 different wars. There's your blood and tin.
Oh yeah. Way back there.
Way back there. And killing. Interesting. Alright, have some fun in this location.
What do you want me to do this next? Just go walking around?
Yep, nice slow movements. Kai, with yours last night, I would tell you, like, near that second bench over there, past the lamppost, that thing was going apeshit. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, we couldn't figure out what was going on with
Here,
it.
I'll come with you, Kai.
So if we can't get that same thing tonight, that means that it was legit last night, because we're not repeating the same thing from a man-made object.
That bench right there, right?
Yeah, it was right around that second bench up there.
Here, Kai, I'm gonna keep the camera on you. Oh.
Just keep resetting it. And when I say it was going nuts, those colors were all over the map. Is it doing the same thing? So what I'm trying to not do is recreate what happened last night. I don't want that to happen. That proves the legitimacy that something was over here last night. So if it's happening again tonight, there's something nearby, man-made, that's making it. I.e. Keep testing it for me. I'm going to start bouncing around.
I'm gonna go walk in the front. Oh my God, is that a tour?
What?
There's a tour coming in. Is it going ape shit?
Not really, kinda. Just keep clicking green.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep the camera on you while you're doing this. I'm gonna do it. There's a tour with her. Nothing. Have you guys found anything?
Yeah. Over there.
Oh.
Where'd April go? She has the spirit box now. Oh, she's right.
Should be over there.
Okay. All right, Parker, what do you got?
There's so many letters. No, that's like C, F, H, R, F, O, R, M, B, Marguerite Ball, M, B, yeah, Marguerite Ball, right? So whatever. That's a rough number over there.
But you also have to work the one. We just heard the number one and the other two.
Oh. Okay, cool. I didn't see that. I'm not good at this. No, that's good. Right.
I'm also
Sound like Hey, I'm Nick.
You want to go grab Lorri and
I think they're down by the.
Oh, down over there.
You
Also,
grab them and bring them up this way. I'm gonna kind of spot check on what we got going.
you got it. Hey, Dad. Yoo-hoo. I know. He needs us over there. Sorry.
We'll be there when I'm ready.
I'm sorry. They're doing something.
So a couple things I'm actually excited about. For those of you filming, if you want to stock your cameras, by all means, relax. Because I know you were trying to do a bunch of different, get the whole monument in there. So here's what I'm excited about, things I want to look into. Obviously the word June, that could be definitely relevant. We did have the number 30 show up on Sandra's list, and then we heard the number 8 on another spirit box. So again, that was his age at death. Again, relatively close to each other, and the word illness showed up right before the number 30. So that illness, again, he died of tuberculosis. So again, he did have an illness. I'll be looking for the word blood somewhere in your recording, so we're going to see what actually goes on with that. We did get the initials MV that showed up on the Ouija board device, and her name was what again? Margaret Vault?
Yep.
So there's a monument over here dedicated to a Margaret Vault. So I'm going to see if there's any kind of relation there. Again, I don't know anything about her. Again, I had to even ask him the name, because again, I don't know who's going to pop up in this location. We did get the number 1 in several different spirit boxes, along with the word freedom. And we got George Washington right here, who is our first president. So I have to look at it in that kind of sense. I'm going to be more convinced if I hear a George or Washington, obviously while we're in Washington Square. So again, we got the name Smith. I don't know who the hell that is. So I'll definitely be diving into that. And the readings. So we finally got some good EMF readings out of Kai's device. He went all the way up to a 17.3, unless you have something higher than that. So we have a couple like 10, 11, 13, 17. Let me kind of explain what those readings actually mean. If you were to put Kai's device behind your TV set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. We're in a space where there's no electricity besides the lamp posts, obviously. Those are probably going to give off about, I would say, a 12 to 15 average, but he wasn't near any kind of direct lamp post. So we did have a 17 in a space where there's no electricity. If you're going to be standing next to a microwave with that device, it's going to go up to 150 to 170 milligauss. That's pretty dangerous levels. I'll just put that out there. The highest I've ever seen it go is 214, and that has been on one of my tours. Other places have been up to 197. St. Augustine Lighthouse, when I investigated that in Florida, that went all the way up to 197 in one of the rooms of the lighthouse keeper's house. So kind of keep that. I've seen high things, so when I get little things like this, I don't know what the baseline is for this location yet. So the fact that he gave me like 9 to a 17, I'm pretty happy with that. Like, that's pretty good stuff. So again, I think we have certain things going on, and you guys have given me a lot of terms, probably 4 pages worth of looking in to see if that term is actually relevant or not. This is part of the reason why I like to do November as kind of a experimental month. Again, I don't know everything about this guy yet. I haven't even read any of the books that came in yet. So again, certain things I know, but it'll expand as kind of the months go on. Any other things that you guys may have heard or seen that might have been weird?
So I was doing circles around here really slowly, and when I came up to that bench where I was giving the weird readings, I heard tapping. I heard like this, faintly, on the bench. It sounded like tapping on wood. I couldn't mistake it for anything else.
So if it was faint, it definitely wasn't an acorn or anything falling on a tree.
It did not sound like an acorn.
On a truck.
It did not sound like an acorn. And I was walking right past it, and all of a sudden I hear the...
And you were recording at that point, so hopefully we have the audio from that. That'll be really cool. It's funny, is I normally don't listen to the audio of your video. I usually just want to look for the visuals. So I'll have to be listening for the audio for that for sure. So very good stuff in here. Like, I'm actually excited. You guys gave me a lot of terms, way more than the past 2 nights. And I didn't give them this much time in this location. Where we're going now is the very big experiment. We're going to a Quaker graveyard. So it is an interred graveyard. What that means is that they took bodies from their original burial and they moved them so that way the city can have the plot of property. So there's a list of names of everybody that's in there, but we are going to be using your electronic devices, but I'm going to be handing off a set of dowsing rods. The set of dowsing rods, the reason why I'm doing that is because of the religious values of the Quakers. We didn't have anything pop up in the first night that I was there through any spirit box that made any sense to me whatsoever. But the young lady that came on the tour that night had her own dowsing rods and was using those and had direct answers. So unfortunately, it's only in yes/no questions, which is something I normally hate. As you guys learned that at the very top when we started going through the spirit box thing. But we will get some answers out of it that way, at least try to narrow things down. I don't know enough about the Quaker religion to say that the only thing I know about them is that they did not have a full belief of the afterlife because they thought that the end of the world was coming and did not need a version of the afterlife because they were all going to be saved. So these are people from the 17 and 1800s. We're going to go up there, and again, that's the only thing I know about that location. There's benches everywhere. We're going to kind of sit around. Anybody interested in using the dowsing rods? I'll look at all of you like jumping up. So we'll pass them around. I'm good with it. So Tina, you were first, so we're going to hand those off to you first, but you're also going to be listening in at the same time. So unless, of course, you want to hand that off to Parker and see if he wants to listen into your crazy static. So we're going to go this way to get there. Yeah, we're going to go out this way and make a left, and we're going to see what goes on in there. This one is completely experimental. That's all the knowledge I have.
What?
Hey Nick, should I stop recording?
What do you think, bud? A little weird?
Should I stop recording as soon as we hit the gate?
Yeah, I would.
Alright. And alright, just turned it off.
We got everybody coming back in? You guys waiting to see what hot rod's going to Yeah.
I got the name Dawn and Jackie. 10. Is that a name?
That's heaven backwards.
Oh, weird.
It is a name, but it is heaven backwards.
Anyway, I got 3 names.
Okay. What were they again? Ned?
Dawn, Jackie, Neva. How do you say?
Nevaeh.
Nevaeh.
So Don and Jackie. I'll be checking. This is actually the marker for those that were interred in this location. There are not individual headstones, just one slab up there to kind of commemorate all of the Quakers that were buried here. And I want to say there's a total of 36, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the exact number. I'll get that. But again, I'm going to be checking for those names, but we're all going to basically kind of have a seat on these benches, and Tina's going to be using the dowsing rods first and asking any yes/no questions. Usually with things like this, we'll ask like, are you male? Are you female? Open them up. Cross them. That way you can get a direct response. So let's all have a seat.
I'll go sit on the far bench.
You can. That would be actually really cool. Almost like I'm starting to sing on time, right? So now we're using something that these are actually made out of straight copper, and they have to be perfectly balanced. So the different Chinese, these were used for the history to find watering holes. Basically, you would hold them, and they would actually cross as you got, and that's the process. As you got closer to water. That was the original intent of any kind of dowsing rods. You'd be dousing with water. However, these work off of electromagnetic fields. Because they're made out of copper, you hold them and roll them finger and thumb in between and keep them pinky just tightly as you go around. That way they can kind of experience and kind of do whatever they want to do. So when you ask questions, maybe we have somebody up here. Please open up the box. Open it. So, okay, that is basically what we're going to be doing. Which question do you want? So, right on the surface. We got it.
Hello.
That's what I would think. I haven't learned a whole lot about this yet, so but that's how I feel. We'll have to direct it. We have all kinds of boxes here that you can talk to us. We understand that some of these things that. Can you push them a little bit further? Make them cross and touch each other? Thank you for that. Can you open the rods back up again for us? I'd like to move on to another question now that we know that somebody's here. Can you open them back up?
The rods touched each other. Well, something moved.
There we go. Thank you. Who else has a question? What do you guys want to know?
Can we guess anything?
If you're male, open the rods. If you're female, close the rods. Again, we mean no disrespect. We're trying to learn more about you, your lifestyle. If you're male, open the rods. Female, close the rods. Speaking to a young lady the other night, her name there we go. Female, thank you. Can you open the rods back up again? So we had the word Bean show up, or B, and then the last name of Austin, and there is a Bina Austin on that list. It's like the second or third person down, so I was very interested in that. So if Bina Austin is here, open the rods. We've seen them close them quite a few times. Open them up for us. If your name is Bina Austin, open the rods. That's a hard focus you got going on there, Bina.
I don't want to move. I'm scared.
Open the rods. Thank you. Sabina, go ahead and close the rods for us again. Bring them back to the normal starting position. Do you have any words showing up?
8. Accusation, stem, natural, occasion, miss.
Yeah, bunch of nothing. No more. We are trying to learn more. Thank you for trying to put them back. Good. Who's next on these? April? You want to try these out? Well, there was a couple of you that raised your hand about these. Great for focus. They are super cool. Alright, hand off the camera to somebody.
You want?
So you're going to hold them, and I want you to have a seat. That way you're perfectly still. You can have a seat anywhere.
So you can brace your arms and
Right.
be super still.
Right, I'm going to be super still. Forefinger and thumb. Keep it nice and loose. Maybe a pinky on the bottom. Yep, I'm going to be real loose with them. So, what do you want to know? Now that we know that we're talking to a female named Bina, what else can we ask that's a yes, no, that we can actually clarify?
Oh, good call.
Let's see if it works.
Good call.
I like the children question. No offense. I think and then the natural causes, and then we have. What do you mean? Yeah. Dina, we'd like to know if you had children. Open the rods for yes, close the rods for no. Open for yes, close for no. Did you have children?
Yeah, I kind of want to try it.
Undecided.
See him wiggling around.
Feel a lot of resistance.
Bina, did you have children? Open for yes, closed for no. Just kind of like same thing with you. Nothing's happening. Kind of getting used to it.
So weird.
So what was the marriage question and then natural causes? Okay, Bina, we'll switch it up. Were you married? Open for yes, closed for no. Open for yes, closed for no. Were you married?
I heard the United States Democratic, like it hit a political channel.
I'll also tell you during that session the other night, it kept pointing to where the marker is back in the lawn. Like she asked her directly, where are you buried? And it pointed directly over there.
Oh.
I heard a political channel pick up, and then so I clearly heard United States Democratic, and then it cut off.
Yeah.
But that was the clearest moment I've heard in a while.
When we were asking about the
Answer
children.
the question.
Yeah.
Bina, we still want to know if you're married. Open for yes, closed for no. Again, we're not trying to be disrespectful. We're just trying to learn more about you. Didn't we have the phrase learn more come up somewhere too? Can somebody hear? Yeah. Oh, we got a little bit of an open. Can you open them really wide for us to verify that? Nice and wide. Push on them.
Never named Barry.
Barry. So someone's clothing is going to clear the power will not be as No, these are pretty thick pants. They're not touching my clothes.
Whoa.
Do you have it? They open? Okay, can you set them back for us, Bina? So you were married, so we should call you Mrs. Austin. Close them back up. Let's get them back to the starting point. What's funny is we have the number 3 when we were asking about the children, so I'll definitely be diving into that. At this point, Miss Bina, can you point those rods to where you're actually buried? Where are you buried at? Point both rods to where you're buried. We know you're here.
The word Charlotte came up.
Charlotte, North Carolina. We know you're not in Charlotte.
Moss. Hole.
Moss.
Moss. Hole. Charlotte.
Maybe she doesn't like me.
Andrew, I don't think you're giving off the right energy there, buddy.
Nope.
Who else wanted to try these? Or did you want to try
You
them
want to
all?
try?
I'll try them after her.
Hey, you're not getting much. We're going to switch up the energies, man.
What did it feel like, man?
It was like I felt the force. Like it's like there was like kind of a resistance pushing it this way. Like if I took my finger and kind of just started pushing against it. Something was moving that thing.
What's the good stuff? I was going to yell at it.
You guys have a disease. Open for yes, closed for no. Trying to learn more about you, Mrs. Austin. Mrs. Austin, we want to know if you died from a disease, like if you were sick. Open for yes, closed for no.
Got the word faint.
Faint.
What word?
Faint.
Faint.
Thing?
Faint.
Faint. Open for yes, Mrs. Austin. Closed for no.
Faint.
If you died because you were sick.
Faint.
Stand it up a little bit. Gotta really push on them. See the movement. Open them nice and wide. Open for yes, closed for no. There we go. So we have a yes that you died from a disease. What's next after that? What do you think? We got the number 3.
It asks.
We can ask again. Mrs. Austin, can we reset the rods, please? Set them back straight, pointing at me.
What? Get over there with your thing.
They're getting close. Thank you for that, Mrs. Austin. Oh, she's going slow tonight. The other night she was really like really wide open. All right. Did you have 3 children? Was that the correct answer? Open for yes, closed for no. Go ahead and turn the white button on right now. Oh, you just turned it? Oh. Okay, set them back to me, Mrs. Austin. We get it. We got the answer. Thank you. Wow, that's a definitive no.
Is that on?
No, yeah, no, it's on when you have a green dot on the front. So this will be clicked into place. There you go. Did you have any children, Mrs. Austin? Open for yes, closed for no. I don't know which way to go now. Open for yes, children, closed for no children. Now you got all kinds of letters coming through. What do you have? Yeah, a bunch of nothing. You got a prescription in there. Is that you moving around?
No, it was on the red. It was on the last one.
Wow. So no children at all. Sorry, she's getting better answers than you were. All right, Mrs. Austin, open them back up.
That's what
Apparently.
I was thinking too.
Open them back up to me. What's weird about the Quaker religion is that they looked at men and women equally. Like, there was no, like, we're talking 1700s, 1800s where women were, pretty much oppressed. And, yeah, not the way with Quakers. Everybody's equal. All right, so what other question? Let's do one more. Sandra, what do you got?
Oh, I like the one where you asked if she was buried.
Well, we did get a yes on the marriage.
No, buried.
Oh, buried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
she actually in there?
Yeah, apparently they're
They put
underneath.
them all under one. They took
Just
two.
That's a good question, too. All right, we'll do both. We'll do the buried question first. All right, Mrs. Austin, show us where you're buried. Point the rods in the direction where you're buried. That means you have to point both rods in the same direction. You're getting an open.
Sort of like going to my right.
Yeah. quicker movement than what we've had.
So they took all 36 bodies on top of one another under that sled.
I don't know that they're all on top of one another. They would be splayed out. That is just like a memorial.
Oh.
Look at that one.
I didn't even know.
It just.
So why'd they bother to zoom? Oh, they
They
zoomed
removed
from
them
somewhere.
They
somewhere
moved them from somewhere else.
Where?
It said meeting in Broad. So I don't know which plat of land around here that would be, but we're on meeting in Broad right now. So it wasn't far. So wherever they were buried, they basically like would have shuffled them across the street and said, "There's a plat right here. We can put the Quakers in. Let's put them in."
You can't have them on meeting. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have them wherever they're at right now. We can put them in this spot right here, but we'll shove them all together. Make it happen.
We're getting like mixed bags here. And what was the other question you had?
Is there anyone else here?
Oh, Mrs. Austin, is anybody else here with you? Let's reset them back to me first. Point straight at me. Let's get back to a reset. Thank you for that. And if you have somebody else here with you, open for yes, closed for no. Are you here alone? I guess that's two opposing questions, isn't it?
Yeah, right. I was gonna say.
Sorry,
that's confusing.
my writer brain just came out. If you have somebody else here with you, open for yes. Besides all of us living people on the benches. They're trying to open.
Oh my god. Like, have you seen her? Because she said this is like homeless people.
That's a definitive yes. Now that you're getting this, if you want to tell us how many other people are actually here, those of you with spirit boxes, make sure you're listening in. See if we can get a definitive number. Point them back at me, please. That's a little nutty.
Yeah. It was like blinking on the last one.
Did you get any numbers too?
No.
No
it was
numbers.
At 0.
Just emotion. Interesting.
I mean, I did just move, but like barely.
Are there more than 5 people here with you? Open for yes, closed for no? Like that happy little song, Parker?
Yes.
They could have put the Ghostbuster theme on there. That would have been cool. More than 5 people, Mrs. Austin. Open for yes, closed for no. More than 5, yes or no? You getting anything on yours, Sandra?
Program. I got programmed twice.
Interesting. And you're filming
I
this
feel
one.
like the link started.
Starting to open up, so getting a little bit of yes out of that.
Tim.
Tim again?
Uh-huh.
I'm stoked about that one.
There they go.
This is going
Tim.
good.
I got Tim again. More than 5.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, point them back at me, please. So it looks like
Roger.
we got a lot of names. Parker, I think I'm going to put you over by the, if you can check the names over there. We're looking for a Roger, Tim. What were the other first two that we had come in?
Jack
Jackie,
and Don.
Dawn. Is that female or
D-O-N.
D-O-N. There's that marker right there in between the bushes. Just going to take a look and see if Jackie, Dawn, Tim,
Roger.
and Roger, any of those names are on there.
Roger's spelled with a D.
That's because that's the old spelling of Roger.
Oh, really?
That's the old English spelling, 1700s.
What else do we want?
I mean, if it's just Roger
Roger, and Tim. That would be 2 groups.
Do we have more than 10 people, Mrs. Austin?
Oh, there's a Barry too. Barry.
Barry? Any luck? Mrs. Austin, if you would like us to leave now, please close the rods. Again, no disrespect. We're just trying to learn more about you, and we don't want to disrupt. Close the rods if you would like us all to leave. I see it wavering. Yep, there they go. Any luck? No? Okay. Okay, Mrs. Austin, with that, we thank you, we appreciate you, and I will see you Monday night, because I will be back.
Thanks, Mrs. Austin.
Alright. Nice work out of the two of you. Sorry, Andrew. You kind of sucked at this, buddy. So let's go put it out there.
She clearly likes these.
Third time's a charm.
They feel more comfortable with her own.
Alright, so I am going to stop your regular audio and start collecting your devices. You guys can ask me a million more questions if you'd like. I don't know how long we've been out here. 2 hours and 16 minutes. So again, I don't time this, as I'm sure those of you that have taken this, you already know that, but it's definitely going to give you closer to that 8 to 9 hours worth of media coming back to you. Plus all of the reading I'm going to give you, you have about a 15-hour workday ahead of you. That's what you all signed up for, that's what you're getting back. So that's kind of how this goes. Again, remember, I only spot check everything, so I'm only going to go through it for about 2 hours myself. So half the fun of what you did tonight is the discovery when you're going through your media. Tomorrow when you get your link back, I'm normally done between 12 and 1. I'm probably going to have to do some heavy research, so it's probably going to be closer to 1 with the Washington Square bit and everything you guys gave me. But there is also a link at the top of your data set that gives you a field guide on how to go through the media. And that's I think that's going to be new for you guys. I don't think you guys had that before. But in case you didn't have the thermal imaging or a spirit box, it shows you and tells you exactly what to do with it with examples. So there are paranormal examples from other tours that are on that field guide. Every single device is listed on that field guide. So use it. That's why it's there. So again, it's all part of the experience. You guys came here to learn about this stuff. Bud was kind of like, all right, we're going to do this anyway. We're going to see what happens. So he just came along for the ride. Love it. So again, I'm going to start collecting devices. I've already stopped your audio. So I'm going to get you guys my cards so you guys can check out the website and have my contact info for when you find more. Just email me, text me, whatever you got to do. I'll either prove it or debunk it within 24 hours. I'm usually pretty quick with it. So,
You want me to turn off the recorder?
please.
It's going on.